I never really thought I would live this long, but I sure am happy the good Lord blessed me with 90 years. My life has been filled with happy times and a family that loves and supports each other like no other. That's something any man can be proud of.
Vern, you're 90 years old.
Right.
That's a lot of years.
It is.
You and Mama Sue have 4 children, Diane, Tippy, Tina, and Tim. Together they've given you 13 grandchildren, 27 great-grandchildren, with 1 due in September, and a first great-great-grandchild due in June. What does family mean to you?
It means all the world to me, everything. Without my family, there's nothing.
Yeah. Actually, I think your life has shown that. That's the way you've lived. So your parents, Aaron and Edna, most of us have never met them or had the honor of meeting them. Tell us what you want us to know about them.
Well, my parents they were good parents. They weren't what you say loving parents, but they were good. They give me everything that I ever wanted, really, I reckon. And I would call them good parents, yes.
Mm-hmm. I wish I could have met them. Your sisters were Eldora and Ruth. What was it like growing up with 2 sisters back then?
Well, it was different. One was so much different from the other, I didn't know how to handle them. One of them, every time I looked at her and made some kind of a gesture, she'd start crying. And the other one, we were just kind of buddies. We just lived and had a good time together.
Who's oldest?
Ruth.
And then?
And then our little.
So you grew up, worked, and raised a family in a small town. Tell us about New Bern in the good old days.
Well, the good old days is quite different from days now. I can remember us going to town on Saturday night, walking the streets. Sometimes we'd have to get out in the street to even walk down the street. There's so many people.
Really?
And it was quite different, the way people parked, and the stores are quite a bit different. And I can remember we had like 2 dry goods stores, a man's store. We had 3 barber shops and grocery stores. I guess we had about 6 of them.
Goodness.
Right downtown. And it was fun, especially on Saturday night when I get to meet my girl, you know.
Your girl?
My girlfriend.
Your girlfriend. Who was that girlfriend?
That girlfriend, I happened to marry her.
So tell us about the first time you met that girlfriend.
All right, first time I saw that girlfriend, my daddy run a service station all the time I can remember. And I was, of course, hipping there at the service station. And it was right down there on the corner of College and Washington. And I'd be sitting out there, and he'd come along, this little bouncy girl, you know, had sidewalk thing across there. And that got my attention. And I had to check on that, you know. So that's really the first time I really can remember noticing her.
So what did you do? Did you ask somebody, or did you just go up to her?
You know, I can't remember just what I did. I probably just had somebody else to ask her. I was kind of timid. And I can't really remember the first time that I did ask her. But I got it done some way, you know.
So did you go on a date?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I went on a date with her, and from that on, it was just Sue.
So what was the date?
Oh, went to pit show.
Okay.
Went to a little old joint that had hamburgers and milkshakes and stuff, and then we had to drive around, and maybe stop and somewhere and mooch a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah.
So do you
And-
remember what kind of car you were driving?
Yeah, 37 Pontiac.
37 Pontiac.
37 Pontiac. And to go see her, I had to go through mud that deep. She could hear me coming about 30 minutes before I got there, flying through that mud. And of course, it's a rock road, and it'd get muddy when it rained just a little bit. So, but it's a wonder I hadn't tore the old car up going through that mud.
Did you open the door for her?
I don't remember, but I did open the door, I think.
Did she sit next to you
Yeah.
or on her own side?
She was pretty close by.
So you ended up marrying her. And we're talking about Mama Sue, right?
Yeah, we're talking
Okay.
about Mama.
So you ended up marrying her.
Yeah, sure
So
did.
Tell us about those first few years of marriage.
First years of marriage. Well, as far as I can remember, they were good. They was real good. I liked it. And
Was she a good cook right off?
no, I can't say she was a good cook right off. I come in one day and she had some she had some potatoes and green beans, one green bean, peas. This is the first pregnancy. And I tried to eat them and I couldn't. That was the worst meal I guess she's ever cooked. And,
That's pretty good. You've been married 73 years, and that was the worst one
Yeah.
right at the beginning.
Yeah. Pretty much right at the beginning.
Yeah.
I think we've been married a year or half before she got pregnant.
Yeah.
And we lived upstairs at my dad and mom's house. We had a little apartment up there. And we was making it fine till Diane come along, and we had to move out after a little bit.
Where'd you move to?
We moved to over at the old Thornburg house. I don't know if anybody knows where that's at, but we moved over there. And we lived there as an apartment. I guess we lived there a year or two till we decided we'd build a house over on Sycamore Street.
Yeah.
Little house. Her daddy was a carpenter and wasn't any problem, getting it built. And we built that little house. And I reckon the rest of our kids was born in that little house while we was in that little house. And then we decided we built as much as we could on that little lot. So we had to move out here and we built this house.
This house. And the first house here burned.
First house burned after we lived in it about 5 years.
Oh.
It burnt and we had to build back.
Build back another one.
About the same kind, I think.
Now, did Gran build either of those houses?
Yeah. Well, he built the first one.
Mhm.
But the second one, we had to have it contracted.
Okay.
He'd gotten where he couldn't.
Couldn't do it anymore.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's no secret, Bern, that you've lived your life as a Christian. So can you tell us the day or even the moment that you turned your
Yeah.
life over to the Lord?
I was living at Tainable, going to school. That was back in the days when you had a meeting, your church meeting, that the school would turn out and go. That'd be in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I was in church that morning, and the preacher was preaching. When he got through, my heart was just broken. I started crying and sniffing, and and some lady that was there come over to me and asked me, he says, do you want to accept Jesus? I said, yeah, I sure do. She said, well, let's go down. But I was too timid to go down. I wouldn't go down. So about 2 years later, we moved to Dearborn, and I went down out here at this church.
Oh, okay.
And joined the church and made it public,
Right. And how old were you?
I was 12 years old.
12 years old. Never turned back.
Never turned back. 12 years old. I was about 10 when I really accepted Christ.
And that's why your life's been so good.
Yeah. Definitely.
That's right. So let's see. The shop. Aiken's Body Shop now, but you opened it as Bernie's Body Shop. Tell us the story. Elaborate on it. You sold a car, built a shop. In those early years, tell us, when did you realize it was the right thing that you did?
Well, when I first, we talked about doing it, I thought, well, I've got to, get out and make something myself. Just can't work for somebody else. So we talked it over.
We, you and Mama Sue?
Me and Mama Sue talked it over. Partners. And so I told her, I said, now, if I go into this, I've got to borrow the money. And I can't pay for that and the car, too, at the same time. So I said, we've got to sell the car. Well, she agreed to that. She said, okay. She said, I hate to give up my car, but you know what you want to do. So that's really the way it started. I borrowed the money and built the shop and never looked back.
Yeah. So the saying that behind every good man's a good woman is true in y'all's case.
Right. That's definitely right. She's been with me all the way.
Yeah. So you built the shop and you worked by yourself?
When I first started, I had a young boy that didn't know nothing, but I had to have some kind of help.
Right.
And he helped me for a while, and then I just kept adding help on till I had at one time about 4 different people working for me. And went from there.
Yeah. And did you pump gas then?
Yeah, we had a gas station. I might say that I had a partner when I went in. Me and him partner up. We was going to sell cars, fix them up and sell cars.
Oh, okay.
And after a while, he decided he wanted out. So I bought him out. We had a service station there, and it didn't do no good. It was in the way. And so I got rid of it. And it's been the way it is ever since.
Yeah. So how many years was it before Mama Sue got a car?
Oh, she got a car just the next day.
Oh, she did.
Oh,
It
yeah,
just
she had a
It
car.
just wasn't a new car.
Yeah, she wasn't without a car, but it wasn't no new one.
I gotcha. Okay. I wondered if her and the kids had to walk everywhere.
No, we had a car.
Okay. So Arizona.
Arizona, all right.
You like sharing that one?
That was the experience. Miss Sue's daddy, Mr. Elvis, we went out there on kind of his health. So we loaded up and went. And
so what kids? What kids? 4 kids?
We had Diane and Tippy.
Okay.
And we went out there and found us a little apartment. Mr. Elvis, he found him a place to stay, and of course Miss Johnny. And we stayed, I think, about 6 months. I was enjoying it. I was having a good time, really. I found a good job at Ford dealership there, and it was the largest Ford dealership in Arizona in the factory business. But anyway, I went to work there and started making more money than I'd ever made in my life, you know. Factory business, we bought us a television set, and I don't know what all while we was out there. Well, Mr. Elvis, he got homesick.
Oh, okay.
He got homesick, and then Sue got homesick. And so we finally had to bundle up and come home.
Going home.
To, you know, have peace all around.
That's right. So, was Arizona, let's get the timetable right, was Arizona before the shop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's really when I was trying to make up my mind what I wanted to do.
Okay.
And I talked to Bill, which was my cousin that lived out there, and he more or less encouraged me to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I come back then, well, after a few weeks, I decided that's what I was going to do.
So, it was a good thing Gran and Mama Sue got homesick then. Just came home.
Well, yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, it's good for me.
Yeah, and I've still been there probably because I'd already worked myself up to the next one up would have been the shop foreman.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I could have worked on up,
Mm-hmm.
maybe never come back.
Yeah. It's good for a lot of people that y'all came home.
Yeah.
Family traditions, Bern. Out of all the ones that you and Mama Sue have built together, which one do you cherish the most?
I cherish my family. What we've accomplished over the years, the way this family has grown and how they've turned out, and I cherish that most. That
Right.
makes me proud.
So when we talked earlier, you said Christmas was your favorite holiday.
Christmas is my favorite holiday, to have them all in and see them all and talk to them all, and because that's really about the only time I really get to see them, some of them, you know.
Yeah, well, all at one time, especially.
Yeah, at one time.
So Christmas Eve years ago was aunts, uncles,
Right.
everybody.
Yeah, well, that was an enjoyable time, you know, to be with all them.
And then
But then-
now,
Now it's all us, you know.
children, grandchildren.
Yeah,
Yeah,
greats and all.
from ages 1 to 71.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And we just keep throwing them at you,
Just
don't we?
keep growing.
Everybody loves Mama Sue and Daddy Byrne, too. So talents and hobbies.
Talents and hobby. Well, one of my hobbies is woodwork, which I love to do just for pass the time away some, and then give it away to somebody that appreciates it. And one of them is building these little bee catchers. They work pretty good, and then I have this birdhouse over here, feeder, that I built. That's working pretty good, and it's fun to have something that you can pass the time and look back and see what you've done. That's one of them, really, and then I have stained glass that I'm really proud of, the things I've made with it. I've made lamps and hanging lamps and even windows, and I love to do that. Also, I do a lot of gardening, which is a lot of work to it. And I built me a big fish pond, which I've enjoyed over the past, I guess, 20 years that I've raised fish.
Okay, one last thing, Vern, because this has been great. But if you will, tell all of us whatever it is you want us to know about the man we call Daddy Burn.
Well, Daddy Burn was a man, I'd say, that tried to live his life in a way that he wanted his children to live. And when he says something or when he does something, do it. Don't back out on it. Don't renege. Just do it. And I'm just proud of all of my family, and I don't know what my life would be without them.
Okay, Burn, you know how we've always kidded that I'm your favorite daughter-in-law?
Yeah.
But seriously, who's your favorite in-law?
My favorite in-law is you.
Ah. I love you, Daddy Burn.
I love you too. It's the house that, what's your name lives in? I can't read your lips.
Excuse me.
Hey, Burn, try not to rub the chair. That's probably going to pick it up on the mic.
So the whole time I've been thinking, he looks just like you.
Huh?
That's what you do. That's exactly what you do.
Oh, I know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do the same thing.
Tim does the same thing.
He did.
You're right.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
What's that now?
Did you just hear what Tim
To
said?
look at the camera?
He said, he said, you're right.
Oh, really? Well, sometimes, it slips up. That's about all I know to say.